It's the Absurd American Nerdcast with your hosts, Freddie and Mr. S. And moving into Marvel, there is a lot going on in Marvel right now. Let's start
Buckle
off.
up, buckaroo.
Yeah, so I honestly think that we should talk a little bit about She-Hulk. Freddie, I'm gonna shoot it over to you and let me have your thoughts and opinions because we're one episode away from a season finale on it, and I know we missed a few weeks, but wow, they have brought so much stuff into the MCU and so many different theories and ways that they're gonna plug in some of the stuff in the future, which we'll get to in a little bit. But let's talk about She-Hulk. What do you got?
Honey, I thought you'd never ask. Anyway. Okay, so She-Hulk. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm loving this series. I just wish people would read comics.
Right?
So they understand that what you're seeing on screen is what you're seeing from the comics, like how it's been written,
Right.
why she's the way she is. Like, there's a lot of people throwing hate around, and we don't need that. We don't need extra hate. Just enjoy the time,
Right.
Now, we recently saw an episode where she was at a retreat,
Right.
with the Abomination, the guy from the Wrecking Crew,
And some other
Porcupine.
baddie good guys that were once bad.
Yeah, they're
kinda
like
turned
really
into good, trying to do-
E-list bad guys.
Right.
Now, it's good because, like, I feel like she touches a lot of subjects where it's more relatable, and I feel like a lot of media these days don't relate to what people are in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying, like, everybody is like that, but what I'm saying is the majority of, like, people that I've met, or, like, myself included, she has a lot of relatable things that people can be like, oh, I've been there before, oh, I feel the same way. Like,
I agree. Yeah.
I get when you don't get, like, you whatever, we've all had that,
Or you've been
hookup
around
situation.
Yeah, like you've been around on the internet dating stuff, and
Yeah.
you're not really finding what you really want to find. Some people are using it for good, some people are using it for other stuff, but it doesn't mean that it's always bad. But in this case, it is. Unfortunately, we've met some evildoers that have really put a damper in her life up into the most recent episode as well, where she got exploited for a lot of this stuff. So, I mean, shame on particular guys that would do that. But, it's also very realistic because it does happen. And it's very
you're putting
relatable
yourself
to an
out there and
audience.
you're making yourself vulnerable.
Mhm.
Like, we've all been there, dude. We've all been there. You can listen to this podcast and be like, "Bit, you lying," and I'd be like, "Nah,
No,
this is true.
this happens."
And I just feel like now I'm again not saying that everyone's like this, but think of, like, the perspective of others, and I'm
Right.
glad that we see this perspective of others with her, and like, she has a lot of person qualities. Not that she's like the She-Hulk, the She-Hulk,
Right.
but, like, we see her more toned, more, like, calm. I mean, obviously she got mad recently, but she's relatable, and that's why I like it.
And
I like
just
that it's a character that I can watch and be like, I get that.
When it really comes down to it, we all want to be loved for exactly who we are, and that's really I see that what the series is everyone wanted to date She-Hulk, but no one really wanted to date Jen. But in order to find that love within yourself, you have to be able to be both and find someone that's going to love and respect you for both, either good or bad. But it's been a very good series about not only self-love, but finding love in others, but doing it in a right way, if that makes sense.
But here's this, though. I mean, who's to justify your right way of finding love?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
By
Like
the way,
within yourself, like it's been a good.
yeah,
But not like
and I'm glad
you should do it this way. But it's
yeah, I'm glad that we're seeing her find herself though,
right.
because this is who she really is, you know.
Agreed.
And you don't have to mask yourself to be who you are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
but other than
just
that,
kind of with that series too, do you think that we're gonna get a Red Hulk? I think that it's gonna be
no,
no.
we're never gonna get Red Hulk. You know
Okay.
why?
Why?
Because the actor who played Thunderbolt Ross died. He passed away.
Right. But what if there's an experimentation to create a new one?
Look, if they can pull somebody from another universe.
No, I mean they're
Well,
literally pulling stuff from King Hulk, where they're obviously after her blood to do some sort of mutation, and they've got it now. And the fact that one of the evil guys has bought vibranium and has questioned whether vibranium can pierce her skin or not. I mean, there's some sort of experimentation going on with her blood in order to create something. So it's either going to be another Hulk-like things with like an abomination, or is it going to be like a Red Hulk because it's just a different variation of the gamma that has been exposed. I don't know.
I really think it's that guy that's the main villain, the guy who bought the spear.
Right, the rich dude. I forget his name. I cannot think.
Yeah,
of his name.
because he's an asshole.
Yeah, so that's.
Pardon my French.
He's written off in my head just because of that. But I mean,
we'll call it forever. I'm like, bro, relax.
Like, no one's buying African garb like I am. No one's on my level. I think he's what he said. I'm like, who cares? Like,
bro, like he is.
Who cares what you buy and what you're
that's
holding on? Like,
yeah, I have.
He's trying too hard. He's trying way too hard to be accepted in society, and he's doing it the absolutely wrong way.
Yeah.
It comes off a little. Yeah. Anyway,
I will say this: I was very excited to see Leapfrog.
Right, and the fact that they were true with the comics as well, where he inherited from his dad, and his dad being like more of a villain, and he was trying to be more of a hero. But just like in the comics, he's like a fuck up hero. He messes up all the time.
Oh my god, he is like an X-list.
Oh, superhero. Hilarious. When he jumped out the window and just slammed and broke his legs, which does happen in the comics, I was happy for multiple reasons. What a hero. But I do want to get into, and I want to hear your thoughts on the most recent episode. We saw a certain character finally, and we got to see them, which what you wanted in the courtroom, and that is Mr. Murdoch as Daredevil.
Yes. We saw the classic gold and brown color scheme.
Right.
And it looked amazing. I mean,
it looks so good.
It could be gold and burgundy. It just depends on which comic you're reading. Like the Tim Sale, Jeff Loeb, Daredevil Yellow series, which is amazing. Please check that out. I was so excited to see my man because he literally looked at She-Hulk when he got up and he goes, "Jennifer, I'm Daredevil." And she's like, "I don't know who the fuck you are."
Right.
Like,
we're not in New York. We're not in New York anymore.
And it was the theme song too.
Yeah, and he played the theme song from the Netflix series, which means everything is just perfectly in canon and everything, which again made me so happy. Another thing that I thought that made me super happy was his abilities, and you could really see more so of what he can do.
Thank God they showed him as an actual acrobatic.
Right. Just like from running through the where she collapses the top of the parking lot, like he was just running, and then he's like, "My ass remains unkicked." And then he when he was flipping down the building to the hallway scene, which was amazing because we got his baton and the full force of him using that. Everything about that made every fan so happy.
It wasn't just 2 sticks; it was the fucking rope, and he just went, "Cha!" Like It was
smacked
so
him in the
dope,
face and it
man.
retracted back. I mean, even her smashing down like to end like three
That
of
was
them.
great.
That was such a perfect ending in that too. Um, then of course we have the end scene there where she's accepting an award and it goes to everybody because another real world situation, which is ridiculous, but it does happen again. So we're relating to everybody. Um, I honestly, I say it's ridiculous because in my mind, it's absolutely ridiculous that women get treated that way. But the reality is that it does happen. So
Oh yeah.
exploiting that and bringing it to light and everything, like kind of putting, hopefully people will see that and put themselves more in check in that perspective because it's a real world thing that should not be happening, but sadly it does.
I mean, just because like you know you don't go through it doesn't mean others are not
Exactly.
going through it. You know.
Yeah. So I I like that they at least touch in that and like bring that to light and saying like so everyone can know that that kind of BS is wrong. And then we go into, of course, the threats against her life and all that stuff towards the end, and that brings us up to our lovely cliffhanger until next week, where I'm
Now,
really excited.
I do want to bring up everybody that's listening, and even if it's like 12 people, I just want to put this out there. Matt Murdock, Daredevil, he's a slut. He really is.
Watch the Netflix
That
series.
man-
He is, but he's
I honestly
cheating because
think-
he knows how to register heart rates and know whether or not someone's interested, not interested in him. He can literally
Oh my
like
God,
read
yeah.
through it. So he is such a playboy that it's insane. And again, like that brings such a cool thing to light as well, because even if people with disabilities, there's amazing things that people can do with disabilities to do really awesome things. So I mean, he's using his abilities to be a hoe, but he also
him.
uses his abilities for the good and everything as a hero. So just because you have
Good
a
for him and
disability
good for
does not
Jim.
mean that you cannot be a hero in today's society, and I love that aspect of it as well. But he is a hoe.
Oh yeah.
He is definitely a hoe. So
We're all hoes at heart for something, you know?
right, exactly.
Whether it's from Taylor Swift to Deadpool.
I mean, I'm a hoe for Star Wars,
Speaking
but
of
that's
Deadpool.
right. Well, this is something else that I'm so excited about, and that's of course Deadpool 3. We're bringing back Wolverine. This is going to be the match made in heaven that we've been joking around for the last two movies, and I'm so happy that we get to see it on the screen. So
Have you? I have a question.
Mhm.
Do you remember? I think we talked about this like a couple years ago, so you could say, "Nah, I don't remember." But I specifically remember that Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart was doing an interview for Logan, and they said if they would ever come back to play these characters, the only way they would come back to play them is if Disney bought the studio.
And Disney bought him.
And Disney bought it, and look at them now.
They're
Look what
coming
you
back.
did me now.
We got Patrick
Oh my
Stewart
God,
back
yes.
in the most recent Doctor Strange film, and then we've gotten. I hope that they kind of bring him back for this. Maybe a little
I
cameo
will-
action.
Maybe, because that's from what I remember, someone saying that's the Professor X from another universe, the
Right.
97 X-Men universe, to be
But
precise.
what if that is the universe that Deadpool and Wolverine are actually intertwined together in?
I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine are going to be brought into the Marvel universe by an incursion.
Okay.
And now we see that we have so far 4 mutants. We have Immortal Man, Namor. We have, my God, who are the other 2? Sorry, I am blanking really hard right now. But we had Professor X introduced, and we also have one other person that I'm completely spacing on right now. But we have so far 4 mutants in the universe.
So do
And
you
now,
think that,
with
think-
Deadpool being, what's up?
No, go ahead.
Now Deadpool is actually coming out November 8th, 2024 now.
Okay.
So Disney kind of did this weird thing where right now they just kind of announced that they're pushing back, dates and stuff, and we'll cover that a little bit later in the video. and then the podcast for those who are listening or watching. Um, but I'm excited because now this gives them more time to actually work out a great film. Because I'm gonna be honest, like I loved watching Deadpool 1 and 2. Deadpool 2, like we had the what Juggernaut is supposed to look like.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Vinnie Jones and his one-liner, you know. But I loved how Colossus looked because he looks accurate to the comic, you know.
Right.
And I'm excited to see, like, what if Deadpool is just going through the universes?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Like,
So,
what if, and then when he's like, oh, I'm so tired, and he lands.
So okay, so this kind of leads into my fan theory that I've kind of heard, and I want to get your reaction on it too. Okay, so
All right, let me hear it.
what this is my thoughts, because I think you're going for more House of M kind of thing with how things are going and things are appearing. Yeah.
Kind of just because of the events of House of M.
I think that
WandaVision is still going on.
I think with House of M is how we get like mutants and other superheroes and everything. Let me rephrase that. House of M is how we get mutants, but how we get people like that aren't mutants with like powers is going to come from the incursion from Loki and him splitting the TVA. So I think, or again, a fan theory that's kind of been put out there, that what if the TVA arrests Wolverine, Deadpool, and Cage to help recreate the timeline and help the branches skew down.
Cage? I'm sorry, who?
So, isn't it? It's Johnny Cage, right? No, not Johnny Cage. What's the time guy in Deadpool 2? It's Cage. It's something Cage.
The time. I'm sorry, what?
Isn't there a character that's like in Deadpool that's like a time cop?
No. Not that I know of. He has a henchman buddy called Bob.
Okay.
But
well, then I'm thinking of this wrong. But what if they? Even so, let's focus on like what if they got arrested by the TVA to help out with King the Conqueror?
Well, here's this. So, Quantumania is our next look at Kang, Kang the Conqueror, and that I feel like is going to start the incursion.
Okay.
Because we're going to see Kang interact with Ant-Man, which is crazy because I saw a weird preview was debuted at New York City Comic-Con or something, D23, and I saw Ant-Man talk to Ultron. I don't know if others have seen this, but I think Ant-Man's going to start your fan theory.
Okay.
But I think it's going to carry into Loki, and then it's going to carry into Fantastic Four.
Well, I mean, it would make sense that it would carry into Loki because the quantum realm is where the TVA is technically at. Yeah. And that's how they can move through time. But I just think it'd be interesting to have time travelers because they have broken time laws. I mean, Wolverine went back in time to change the future.
Oh, Days of Futures Past, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it would make sense that the TVA would arrest him and reset the timeline and put him in holding, and then Deadpool as well. So if you have these prisoners that are also assassins, wouldn't you call upon them in order to help with Kane?
But here's the problem. The TVA only has to do something if it's not a part of what's supposed to happen. Because if you remember...
right now.
Yeah, true. But at the same time, like, Days of Futures Past is supposed to happen the way it's supposed to happen. If not, something gets erased, something does this. But yeah, I could see if from that timeline, they get pulled in. That'd be pretty cool.
They could also use that in order to fix where in the timeline all the other X-Men stuff fits too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a cool concept that's how they could piece together all the X-Men stuff into the Marvel Universe and make everything canon. just to make it work. So I don't know. That's kind of my theory on how that's going to go, but we'll have to see, right?
But I do think that like the Fantastic Four is going to start the incursion, just because the current new time slate that just happened. It's Fantastic Four comes out February 14th, 2025, right? And that's the last Marvel movie until May 1st, 2026, which is Secret Wars. Now we do have shows in between that, but I do feel that the Fantastic Four in some way is going to start the incursions. It's because Reed Richards actually brought that up in the New Avengers Everything Dies or Everything Ends storyline. And that leads into Battleworld, which I think in Battleworld, when we see that happen, I think that's when mutants are going to be more introduced and we're going to get more characters. Because here's the thing, like, I know that She-Hulk isn't really going anywhere or anything is happening, and that is totally fine. Nothing needs to happen.
The only thing that I'm curious about and what's going on is that Bruce Banner is gone, and I wonder what he's been doing and when he's going to come back.
I think he's going to come.
But we also have a Hulkverse movie too, so
spoiler alert! He's coming back next episode because there's stills of him fighting Abomination. Spoiler alert!
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
this next episode is going to be wild, and I absolutely am on board for it.
But the thing is, nothing needs to happen right now until Secret Wars. Nothing major.
A lot of build up and
we're
character
building
introduction.
The roster.
Right, that's what we're doing. I mean, after Endgame, it's kind of like, all right, we need to be able to build up our Avenger roster again in order to take on the next step. And literally, what they're doing is giving us origins for everything, just like they did in all the movies. But they're just like, if it's a smaller character, they're doing shows. And if it's a bigger character, obviously we're seeing them in the movies, but we're also getting smaller characters and stuff in the movies too. So I mean,
but we're also
and we also have big characters in the shows. So it's going to be really awesome once everything is out and we see everything that we are watching now come together all in one, and I'm ecstatic about it.
I mean, Secret Wars is the largest ensemble of superheroes. Like Battleworld has everybody everywhere, and it's probably not going to be the same Battleworld. But the thing is, like, this is when Spider-Man gets his black suit. This is when everything cool happens. Like, Secret Wars is bigger than Infinity War, and Secret Wars is probably next to DC Comics, like, Infinite Crisis. It's literally right there. So, nothing needs to happen right now. I mean, you're gonna see key points of it leading up, but everything, all these shows, all these characters, whether it's She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Deadpool, this and that, they are all coming into Secret Wars Battleworld, and we're all gonna see them all interact.
The movies from what we've seen in shows, I mean, Moon Knight's gonna be in a movie, and that movie looks freaking awesome too. So, I mean, I'm really excited about everything that's coming out with Marvel. I'm excited about everything that's coming out with Star Wars. I think Disney is doing an amazing job with all the production values and making sure that the fans are really getting everything that they really want. Some of it's a little bit slow moving, but I feel like once you hold on and you really see where everything's going, it's going to be really awesome. So I'm excited to see all that stuff kind of come out and play together. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do about timeline stuff and how they're gonna pinpoint in and make it all work, because that's exactly what they're working on doing. So kudos to them. This has been the Absurd American Nerdcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on the bell for notification.